And she sat out there and videotaped me for an hour.
I took pictures, and the pictures, she has that evidence as well, ma'am. I took pictures and the pictures of the fence.
I'm talking about the fence that Nan and John put up in the backyard. It is not the same as mine.
No, it's not. And actually, there's images of that. You can see back where my shed is.
Your fence, honey, goes across the back of your yard, and it isn't shadow boxed, because I think all of this is so trivial and stupid.
Okay.
So when I purchased the house, she's correct. And I purchased the house 5 years ago. And well, almost 5 years ago, in 2019.
This whole situation is a mess over the smallest problem ever. A woman is angry about some paint marks on a fence. But the funny part is the fence isn't even hers. It belongs to her 67-year-old neighbor, and the paint was washed off in minutes with a power washer. Still, she acted like it was some huge crime and dragged everyone into court for no reason.
In the spring, I didn't see her until the spring. And I asked her about the fence because the back fencing needed repair. And I have a dog, so I wanted to make sure that if I needed to make any repairs on the fencing on both sides, that I was talking to the neighbors to find out whose responsibility it was so that I did the right thing. And she said that in the beginning, 3 families went in and purchased the fencing, and that, yes, this side was my side. I could plant my garden.
Who told you that?
Sharon.
Ms. Wilson? Oh, okay.
It was, sir.
Okay.
And I wanted to make sure I wasn't planting my plants too close to the fence if it was her fence, and what the expectations were. So she told me that, yes, that side was my side, that it was to be taken care of by me, and that I could plant up to the fence line. And we had a pretty cordial relationship as neighbors up until 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago. And after that, she had somebody come in my yard and stuff out with a weed whacker, and I said I just would like to be left alone. So when she had this fence painted, they had started painting the back end of it, which is where my backyard is. And I noticed that the red paint was getting all on my side of it. And so I went out there and I said, hey, you guys, the paint's getting getting red on my side. You please stop painting my side. I don't care what you paint her side. That's fine. That's hers. She can do what she wants, but I just don't want it on my side. So they left, and then a couple days later they came back. The first day was like June 30th, and then the second time they came back, there was 3 of them, and they were continuing to paint. And I was like, listen, this is going to be really expensive to fix because this is such an old fence. So please, let's not get any more red paint over here. And I had talked to the one guy. He had a dog, and he was pretty nice about it. He was like, okay, well, when I come back, I might be able to fix this. I have a new tool that I have, and it might be able to get this off. And we had discussed about letting me know when they were coming back to paint the rest of it so that I could cover my plants. And he had agreed that he had some stuff that he could cover it with too, or whatever. And it seemed really cordial. And then he actually came back and painted the fence and didn't talk to me about it, but it was not a problem at that point. Then in September, they came back and repainted it. And that's when all the paint started getting on my side again. And I said, I need to stop. This is getting out of hand. And it just wasn't getting resolved. I had sent Sharon a couple texts. I had called her twice and left a voicemail. She wasn't answering. So after that, I spoke to her in her driveway and I said, listen, if we can't resolve something, I'm just going to have to take it to small claims court. And she didn't say anything. So I just decided to take it to small claims court so that we could resolve it, because she's a good person. She honestly believes that the fence is hers because she paid money towards the fence before I moved in. But I think that because I bought property and everything was included in the property, including whatever money they paid towards the fence on the property line, that it's mine. So I think that's where fusion is, and that's where we need intervention.
Okay. Ms. Wilson, did you say that the fence was jointly owned or jointly put up by the property owner?
No, and I have a letter here from the old neighbor, Nan, that lived over there for 35 years, and that states that it wasn't her fence. She did not pay for it. And
well, I'm not going to look at a letter though, or anything else anybody else told you. You can only tell me what you got.
Okay.
When was the fence hold on, when was the fence originally put up? Tell me that.
I don't know the exact dates, but like in 93, 94, somewhere in there.
And were you still a property owner where you're at now at that point?
Yes, I've been here for 33 years.
Okay, so when the fence got put in, was there an agreement that it was a mutual agreement between property owners that a fence would be put up? Is that right?
No, this
Did
is,
you pay for the, did you
I-
pay for the fence?
I paid for the fence. My husband and I pay
Okay, how much
always,
did you pay for the, hold on. How much did you pay for the fence then? remember?
back then it was like $4,000.
And none of the other property owners had anything to do with it.
No,
Okay. Why, how would Miss Baker get that confused if you told her it was your
I
fence?
told her that Nan and John, my old neighbors, and they had asked me if I would not paint that side of the fence as long as they maintained it, just so it would match their fence, because they went and had a fence put up too. They put a deck there and put a gate in and everything, and they wanted it to look all natural, where mine was, I was painting it. And they asked me
Okay.
would I do that for them. And
When,
when Holly came to me and talked about that, I told her that I would treat her just like I did Nan and John with the fence, just enjoy it.
okay. Kind of, I guess, agreement with your other neighbor. When
Yeah.
did that take place? That you would only paint your side? How long ago was that? Just curious.
Like,
Truth is, she can't sue over damage to a fence she doesn't own. The judge knows that, the grandma knows that, and deep down, the angry woman knows it too. This whole thing isn't about damage. It's about causing drama. The older neighbor explained she's lived there for 33 years and has kept the fence up the whole time. She even paid someone to fix it when it was falling apart. None of the other neighbors ever claimed it was theirs. The judge asked the angry woman to prove the fence isn't the grandma's. She tries, but she keeps talking about things other people supposedly said, which the judge can't accept as evidence. She shows him property line maps and photos, but nothing proves she owns a fence. They argue back and forth about what parts of the fence match, which board are old, which parts are repaired, and whether the fences connect. It turns into a confusing back and forth about posts, boards, tops, and shadows. The judge then asks if anyone has an actual property survey that shows the fence line. Neither of them has one that helps. The grandma says she even washed out the paint herself because she thought the whole fight was ridiculous. The other woman recorded her doing it, which didn't help anything either. Eventually, the judge ends the arguments and reviews everything.